Hello, I'm announcing that I'm going to have Illusions Exist Hangout at 4 p.m. for a couple hours. And basically, I want to start doing these conversations because I think it's important to bring this conversation to the next level. And I'm not bored, but there's a bit of a newie with the way the conversation goes. I'd like to see if we can have a philosophical, political, informational public dialogue kind of event. And so there's a lot of structure and ideas and tools, software tools I'd like for that. And that's one of the things we can discuss, but we don't really have to wait for that. You see, part of the problem is I think that the current tools we have are not sufficient to enable us to take it to the next level. But of course, you can always do something. So trying is the first step. As far as subjects, I mean, there's various things. And one, I talked to Gary about his scientific ideas, and I called them poetry. He takes offense at that. That's really a compliment. But of course, he wants me to be more than mere poetry. But I refuse to grant that because there's no mathematical basis to his claims. And he says, "Well, you just, you know." It's the same math. The math will come out the same. I'm not changing the math. Well, you are changing the math when you say that gravitational lensing is really from diffraction. Well, there's a mathematics of diffraction, and there's a mathematics of the gravitational lensing, and they're different. And you say, and it's not just the mathematics, but it's also just some of the logical things. I mean, you don't admit that we have seen gravitational lensing, but we have. There was a major work done about trying to map the dark matter through its gravitational effect, and you can do that with lensing. And even if you don't believe in the dark matter part, the lensing part is true. You can see that images of stars can get duplicated around a galaxy. The stars behind that galaxy get the light gets bent in more than one way, and you have copies of the same star, and you can tell they have the same fingerprint. So gravitational lensing has a mathematics to it. If you say it's not real, then you need to explain the images that we see, the effects we attribute to that in some other way, and that's the mathematics that would have to come out right and that you have changed. Okay, so that makes it poetic because sure, there's some things like, yeah, I think in some sense everything is really moving at light speed in some sense, and that when we see patterns that are slower, it's kind of like group motion. It's like standing waves look like they're standing still. Really, the wave's moving back and forth, and it looks like it's standing still. Okay. The other topic in general is I'm working on this book called Illusions Exist, and we can discuss that. And that's really a lot about information and how information is linked to an illusion. My theory is that anytime you have information about something, it's really put in contrast to an illusion, right? The information is what's really going on. So you have the appearance of something, and the information is always going, well, but here's what's really going on. So you have an experience of the sun rising. The information is, well, actually, the earth is spinning. And then from that, or within that, the book has chapters on the art of philosophy, skeptical relativism, the philosophy of art, spiritual materiality, material spiritualism, skeptical relativism, and the philosophy of art. So, and these all wrap around this issue of information and illusion, and the notion that information is not just elusive, but illusion and information are inherently related. When you believe a false reality, then you don't get information from it. But if you accept the appearance of that reality, but as an illusion, then you start to have information possible about this thing that appears like this, but how is it really, which is what the information will try to tell. So 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Super Bowl Sunday.